Both Imanaga and Yamamoto have shown promising performances so far this season, but there are certain factors to consider when evaluating their long-term outlook. Yamamoto appears to have slightly better ERA estimators, such as XFIP and Sierra, suggesting that his performance may be more sustainable than Imanaga's. Additionally, Yamamoto has a solid strikeout rate and walk rate, which contributes to a favorable KBB% ratio. Imanaga, on the other hand, has been impressive with a low ERA and has shown improvements in limiting home runs, which was a concern heading into the season. However, there are doubts about whether he can maintain such a low walk rate over the course of the season. Both pitchers may benefit from the league's unfamiliarity with them, but Imanaga's adjustments and training with the Cubs could potentially give him an edge as the season progresses. While Imanaga has shown promise, the slight edge in performance metrics and expectations for sustainability lean towards Yamamoto. However, fantasy baseball can be unpredictable, and both pitchers have the potential to contribute positively to your team. Keep monitoring their performances and any changes in circumstances as the season unfolds. Christopher Sanchez is the top streaming option and potentially the top overall pitcher for Monday's matchups, given his performance and the favorable matchup against the New York Mets. Despite his high walk rate, Sanchez has been effective, especially in limiting home runs, which bodes well for his outing at Citi Field against a Mets lineup that lacks significant power threats apart from Pete Alonso, with Matt Manning being promoted for the Detroit Tigers and facing a Miami Marlins lineup with the second lowest WBA in the league. He presents another streaming option worth considering, especially given the limited choices on Monday's slate, for fantasy managers looking to fill lineup gaps due to off days for the Minnesota Twins and New York Yankees. Targeting players from the Oakland Athletics facing Spencer Arrighetti of the Houston Astros could prove fruitful. Arrighetti has struggled with a high ERA and WHIP, making hitters like Brent Rooker, Abraham Toro, J.J. Bleday, Seth Brown, and Brett Harris appealing options to consider, especially in points leagues where Harris's high walk rate could be advantageous. Let's delve further into the matchups and potential fantasy impacts for Monday's MLB games, starting with Christopher Sanchez of the Philadelphia Phillies. He's not only the top streaming option but could also emerge as the top overall pitcher for the day. Despite a somewhat high walk rate, Sanchez has been effective, especially in limiting home runs, which could prove crucial in his outing against the New York Mets at Citi Field. While facing a Mets lineup that lacks significant power threats apart from Pete Alonso, Sanchez has an opportunity to capitalize and deliver a strong performance for fantasy managers. Another intriguing option for streaming is Matt Manning of the Detroit Tigers, who has been promoted to fill in for Kenta Maeda against the Miami Marlins. With the Marlins sporting the second lowest WOBA in the league, Manning could find success in his matchup, particularly given the limited alternatives on Monday's slate. Fantasy managers could benefit from Manning's potential to deliver solid numbers against a struggling Marlins lineup. For those looking to fill lineup gaps due to off days for the Minnesota Twins and New York Yankees, the Oakland Athletics present an unexpected source of fantasy assets. Facing Spencer Arrighetti of the Houston Astros, who has struggled with an inflated ERA and WHIP, hitters like Brent Rooker, Abraham Toro, J.J. Bleday, Seth Brown, and Brett Harris become appealing options to consider. Harris, in particular, stands out in points leagues with his impressive walk rate, offering additional value for fantasy managers seeking to maximize their scoring potential. In summary, Sanchez and Manning emerge as strong streaming options for Monday's matchups, while targeting hitters facing Arrighetti could yield positive results for fantasy managers looking to optimize their lineups. Keep a close eye on these matchups and player performances to make informed decisions and gain an advantage in your fantasy baseball league.